Hi everybody, this is Bill from Travel Tips by Bill. I'm here today with my beautiful bride Janelle, and we're going to talk to you about the top 10 things for women to pack for a trip to Egypt. Janelle, why don't you take it away? Looks like you've got some interesting stuff here to cover.
Top 10 things with a bonus item at the end, if I remember. So the first thing is a hat. Bill included this similar hat in his other video for the top 10 things for men to bring. Breathable, lightweight hat that you can basically put on your head and cinch up under your chin. It'll keep,
It looks so gorgeous? Silly. Oh my gosh, go on, let go a little bit. There you go.
I don't want to stand out. I already stand out. Next thing is sunglasses. Bring a cheap pair of sunglasses. You don't need to bring your Oakleys or anything too expensive. Something that you will not be upset if you scratch, but something that's UV protection and will keep the dust and sand out of your eyes and protect your eyes from the sun. Next thing for women is God, my hearing.
Hold on. Go ahead.
You need to keep this in the video.
What else you got there?
Okay. Sports bras for women. We don't need to be bringing our high quality lingerie. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be one of those kind of trips. So something that you can wash in the sink and that'll dry really fast. You want to bring a couple pair of them. Also, you want some of those similar shirts that Bill included in his video, those PFG Columbia style fishing shirts. These are very lightweight, washable, kind of waterproof shirts that allow you some protection.
Yeah, they're really stain resistant, which, you know, this particular trip we happen to be going for 5 weeks. And we're going to end up doing a lot of laundry in the sink. So anything that kind of avoids picking up stains is going to make our life a little bit easier and actually maybe allow the item to be kind of a rerun where you can wear it more than once without necessarily having to wash it. And again, these things are fantastic. They're super lightweight, don't take up much room in your luggage, and a lot of them are really wrinkle resistant. You can kind of wad them up, toss them in, and not worry too much about how they look. It's buttoned down, so it looks semi-fashionable, and you could probably wear that a lot of different places.
And the cool thing about these particular items is you can roll them up.
Yeah.
And they take up very little space, and you just kind of set them in a row in your luggage. So that's
you've really gotten into rolling, and it's really items like that really allow them to be rolled up and not have it a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Wrinkles in them, right?
Exactly.
And it takes up very little space in your suitcase.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Pants. So similar to the men. Basically, these are kind of unisex pants, but these are capris. So more us women wear these capri type pants. They have zippers as well, so you can stick things in and secure your items. And they're washable and lightweight.
Yeah, those zippers are really important, like I talked about in my other videos. In Egypt, you're going to have a lot of people with their hands out asking for tips all of the time. And so these zippers are going to allow her to keep some Egyptian currency on her close by, but also secure. It makes it just a little bit more difficult for somebody to get their hands in there and take the money out. But you do need to have that Egyptian currency on you at all times in small bills, because you will be handing it out all day long. Matter of fact, in some of the women's restrooms, you know, you're even expected to tip to get a square or two of toilet paper.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that you ladies want to make sure that you have on you at all times.
Bring some small little packages of Kleenex or something.
Wet wipes, dry wipes, whatever needed, but to keep those on your body, because you're not going to walk into a restroom in Egypt and find rolls of toilet paper like you do here in the States.
So I include the capri pants, but I also include a couple pair of long pants as well. Next item, I have a ton of these, and I get these at a store, my favorite store. I don't know if I can even say
You can say it, sure.
Ross. I love Ross. So they almost look like muumuus, but they're from India, and they can be, I mean, they could you could wear these in Africa, India.
Well, you're going to wear them in
Middle
Africa.
East.
And we're in Egypt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. They're super long. They basically almost go to my ankles.
And the reason why we do this is why? Why are we wearing, because these are not the typical clothes that we typically see, I typically see you in, right? You're a little bit more revealing. You're a very curvy, beautiful woman, and I appreciate your curves. But we're going to Egypt, right, which is a Muslim country, and their showing of as skin that we typically do as Westerners is really frowned upon. It's a different culture. It's a different society with different religious beliefs. So you're seeing items here that Janelle typically wouldn't wear if we were going on a cruise or
I have
someplace
never
in
worn
Europe.
these items. These are brand new. They're going in my suitcase, brand new. I had to cut the tags off of them.
But we're doing this again because we're trying to be respectful of the Muslim culture and their expectations of women, especially in some of the religious sites we're going to be going to.
Respectful and fit in and not stand out. That's really the important thing, just for our safety.
And safety,
alone.
I'm glad you brought up safety because as a woman traveling there, you're probably going to be approached by men. You may be groped in crowds, which again, you watch my safety and security video about Egypt. I talk about that, you know, how to try and avoid that situation. As your significant other, I need to be following behind you and watching for people that are going to be coming up and projecting that position of strength so that they're not so tempted to grab her. And women here in the U.S. that are blonde and blue-eyed, you're going to even get a lot more attention than brunettes. So just expect that. Sorry to interrupt. Please go ahead.
Now what these are, I got these off of Amazon. These are sleeves. They're nylon sleeves. I think they came in a pack of a half a dozen or a dozen. And you can wear them if you have short sleeves on and you're wanting, as a woman, you're wanting to cover up from, from your wrist to, all the way up. These are awesome. So I'm packing a ton of them.
These are great because
they're lightweight.
Yeah, super lightweight. Something that you can, to your point, pull off when you don't need to have a long sleeve or put on if you're walking into a mosque or something like that.
Exactly.
And a quick way to add on a layer of warmth too. Right?
Yeah,
and
true.
Some of the evenings in the desert get very cold very quick.
Yeah. Another thing is a scarf, or what they call a shamag. Correct?
Close enough, yeah.
This one, this is rainbow colored. I like this one.
Goes with all your outfits, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I chose this, because it basically will match everything. But it'll cover up any skin that you may have, revealing on your neck or your chest. And it protects you from the sand and the sun and whatnot. And I got a couple of these different ones. You can go on Amazon and there's just such a
lot to pick from.
Yeah.
And you can also honestly pick up these in Egypt when you get there. There's going to be a lot of different places where you can go and pick up the clothing that the locals wear. Those are fantastic. You're going to be able to find loose-fitting, oversized dresses to help cover up. So if you don't pack it and you end up getting there, don't worry too much about it. You can pick it up there really, really cheap. The US dollar right now is doing fantastic against the Egyptian currency. So you can literally get a can of Coke, for instance, for 20 cents. You can get a meal, an entire meal on the Egyptian streets for roughly $1. So if you don't have it, you can certainly grab it when you're there very, very cheaply. And it's also one of those things that if you end up packing so many souvenirs and you have to offload clothes, it's not going to break the bank or make you worry too much about throwing away a $2 dress.
Exactly.
All right, what else do you have?
Okay, shoes. So these are very stylish. I couldn't bring my high heels or anything like that. So these are water shoes. I looked up on Amazon water hiking shoes, and they've got a durable enough sole with some tread in it, and it's flexible and it's waterproof. So this will help me if we're hiking anywhere and there's rocks and sand and whatnot.
Yeah, you're really going to want something like this. Ideally, I know for you, something with just a little bit more ankle support would have been great, but what you run into is when you get into that is the ability for these to compress down and fit in your suitcase. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going there for 5 weeks, so really space in the suitcase is a premium. You know, we're going to be having 6 domestic flights inside of Egypt alone. There's a lot of travel that people don't expect. They think it's a pretty compact country, and north to south, I want to say it's 6, 8. I know from Cairo down to Abu Simbel, it's over 600 miles. So there's a lot of travel that's going to be done. You're going to be walking on a lot of uneven surfaces. So you do want the soft, pliable bottom to kind of work around the rocks and the stones. And you also do want the covered toes. One for the Muslims. I don't know how particular they are about the showing of toes. I know in some countries it can be an issue. But this is more about keeping the sand and the grit and the grime out from underneath your feet, making it uncomfortable, and getting between your toes.
Now, if we're in touristy spots, then what I'm going to do is probably wear sandals if I can, you know, if it's an accepted form of footwear. And these are hard-soled sandals that are really lightweight, and they're just fabric sandals on the top. So really comfortable, not necessarily, you know, your top 10, you know, fashionable item, but it's useful and it's helpful. Last thing I have are socks. These are the no-show socks. I didn't want to pack, you know, anything long or cumbersome. Something that you know folds up really small, and I can just put in little crevices in my luggage, and something that when you wash will dry in a heartbeat. Those long socks that men wear, a lot of times those take forever, hours and hours to dry.
Yeah.
So if we're on the go and if we're literally getting back to a hotel in the afternoon and washing some clothes and leaving the next day, going to another place, then we're going to need something that can dry really fast.
Yeah, I absolutely don't want wet clothes going from place to place. I had that on my last trip because I packed the wrong type of socks, the wrong type of underwear. You do want these fast drying pieces of clothing. It's going to make a world of difference. Exactly.
So these are the top 10 items. I have one bonus item. And this is actually something that as American women don't think of, but when we're in third world countries, they don't always have personal hygiene products, especially tampons. So if you are at that age where you need something like this, very, very important, just go ahead and pack something like this.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up. If you remember last year, a few months ago, we ran into that where we had a real challenge on one of the cruise ships trying to find that for you, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great tip.
They didn't even have it on the cruise ship, and it was, you know, it was largely American population on that cruise ship.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And there were no tampons on the cruise ship. So so I'm going to take these out of the box and put them in a Ziploc bag. I'm putting a lot of things in Ziploc bags. For one, so that I can reuse those Ziploc bags, and two, it kind of airtight packs everything real tight. So
thanks for everybody for joining. If you liked the video, please give us a big thumbs up. We would also love to have you subscribe and join our community.